It was a quiet evening, the kind where the sun dipped lazily behind the rooftops, casting the street in hues of gold and rose. I had just returned from work, my tie loose, my shoes dusty, when I heard the sharp cry of pain from next door. At first, I thought it was a child. But when I rushed outside, I saw her, my neighbor, Emily. She was clutching her ankle, her face pale with pain as she tried to steady herself against the old wooden fence that divided our homes. Without thinking, I rushed toward her. "Emily, are you all right?" I asked, kneeling beside her. Her breath came quick and shallow, her hair falling across her flushed cheeks. She tried to speak but winced instead, clutching tighter at her ankle. I gently slid my arm around her shoulders to support her. And then, through trembling lips, she whispered something that sent a chill down my spine. "Because of you." The words were faint, almost broken. I froze, caught between confusion and unease. "Because of me," I echoed softly. "Why would you say that? What do you mean?" Her eyes, shimmering with unshed tears, lifted to mine for a fraction of a second. There was something hidden there, pain, yes, but something deeper, a truth buried under layers of silence. But she didn't answer. Instead, she let her head fall against my chest, exhausted, and I carried her inside my house, unsure whether the words were delirium from pain, or something else entirely. I laid her carefully on the couch, her ankle swollen and red. Fetching a cold compress, I wrapped it gently around her injury. She hissed softly but didn't push me away. "Emily," I said carefully, "when you whispered, 'because of you,' what did you mean?" She stayed silent, staring at the ceiling, her fingers twisting nervously. Then, in a low voice, she murmured, "Not now, please, not now." I didn't press her further. Instead, I made her some tea, sat by her side, and we exchanged only fragments of words. She stayed until she could stand again, leaning against the wall, refusing my offer to drive her to the hospital. Before she left, she paused at the door, her hand gripping the frame. She glanced back at me, her eyes carrying the weight of something unspoken. "You'll understand soon enough," she whispered. And then she was gone. That night, sleep eluded me. Her words echoed over and over, "because of you." I tried to recall everything about her since she moved in 2 months ago. Emily was quiet, polite, the kind of neighbor who smiled but kept her distance. She lived alone, as far as I knew. Sometimes, late at night, I heard faint sounds of a piano drifting from her home, haunting melodies that lingered long after they stopped. But apart from that, she was a mystery. And now, this strange accusation, or confession, had tangled me in her silence. The next day, I saw her again. She was in her garden, limping slightly as she watered her flowers. I hesitated before approaching, unsure whether she wanted me near. But when she noticed me, she offered a faint smile, as if nothing had happened. "How's your ankle?" I asked. "Better," she replied softly. "Thanks to you." There was something odd about the way she said it, like gratitude and guilt woven into one. "Emily," I began cautiously, "yesterday, when you whispered." Her hand froze midair, water dripping from the can. Slowly, she set it down, her shoulders stiff. "Do you really want to know?" she asked without turning to me. "Yes," I said firmly. She inhaled deeply, her back still facing me. And then she said words that struck like thunder. "Because everything that happened to me, my pain, my ankle, my life turning upside down, is all because of you." I was stunned. "What are you talking about? We barely know each other." Finally, she turned. Her eyes burned with a mixture of sorrow and something like anger. "Exactly," she said. "You don't know me, but I know you." Confusion flooded me. How could she know me? I had never met her before she became my neighbor. Seeing my expression, she sighed and lowered her gaze. "It's not simple. I don't expect you to understand yet. But someday you will. Someday you'll remember." "Remember what?" I demanded, my voice sharper than I intended. She simply shook her head and limped back inside her house, leaving me with a storm of questions. Days passed, but the air between us remained heavy with unspoken truths. And then, one evening, I heard it again, the piano. This time, the melody tugged at something deep within me, something half forgotten. Unable to resist, I followed the sound. Her curtains were drawn, but the window was open. I stood there, listening. And then suddenly, a memory flickered in my mind, dim, broken, like shards of glass. A hospital corridor, a girl crying, a piano playing somewhere in the distance. My heart raced. When the music stopped, I couldn't hold back anymore. I knocked on her door. Emily opened it, her expression startled but calm. "I need answers," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "That music, I know it. I've heard it before. Tell me the truth, Emily." "What do you mean? It's because of me." For a long moment, she just stared at me. Then, slowly, she stepped aside. "Come in." Her house was warm but filled with shadows. Sheet music lay scattered across the piano. A single framed photo stood on the mantelpiece, a younger version of Emily with another girl, smiling under the sunlight. "That's my sister," Emily said softly, noticing my gaze. "She's beautiful," I murmured. "Where is she now?" Her lips quivered. "She's gone." Something in my chest tightened. "She died in an accident. 5 years ago. And you were there." Her words hit me like ice. "What?" I whispered, shocked. I don't remember anything like that." But even as I spoke, fragments stirred in the corners of my memory. 5 years ago, I had been in a car accident. I remembered blurred lights, broken glass, the sound of someone screaming. I had buried it deep, refusing to revisit the guilt of that night. "You were driving," Emily said, her eyes shimmering with pain. "You lost control. You crashed into the car my sister was in. She never came back." My breath caught in my throat. No, it can't be. But the memories crashed back like a tidal wave. The ambulance lights. The guilt that had gnawed at me for years until I forced it into silence. I sank into a chair, my hands trembling. I didn't know it was you. I didn't know she was your sister." Emily's voice broke. "And I didn't know my neighbor would be the man who ruined my family's life. Until I saw you. Until I recognized your face." The room was thick with silence. Finally, I whispered, "Emily, I'm sorry. I know those words mean nothing compared to your loss, but I live with that guilt every day. Not a night goes by I don't think about it." Her tears slipped free, but she didn't look away. "Then why did fate bring you next door to me? Why now?" I had no answer. Perhaps destiny had a cruel sense of irony, or perhaps it wanted us to face what was left unresolved. From that day, things changed. We didn't speak much, but the air between us was raw, fragile. I tried to help her with groceries, with small chores, though she resisted at first. Slowly, she allowed it. One evening, as I carried her bags inside, she whispered, "Do you know why I twisted my ankle?" I frowned. "How?" She looked at me with weary eyes. "I saw you coming home. And for a moment, I remembered my sister so vividly, it broke me. I wasn't looking where I was going." I stumbled, and when the pain hit, the only words that came out were, "Because of you." Her voice trembled. "Because it's always been because of you." Weeks turned to months. Little by little, the tension softened. She began to share stories of her sister, her laughter, her dreams, her love for music. I listened, carrying the weight of guilt, but also a strange gratitude that she trusted me with these memories. One night, as she played the piano, she paused mid-song and looked at me. "Do you know why I let you stay in my life, even after knowing the truth?" she asked. I shook my head. "Because my sister, she always believed in forgiveness. She said people are more than their worst mistakes. And maybe she would want me to believe that too." Tears stung my eyes. "Emily, I don't deserve your kindness." "Maybe not," she said softly. "But we both deserve peace." And so, from pain, something fragile began to bloom. Not love, not yet, but understanding. A bridge built from the wreckage of the past. And whenever I remember the night she whispered, "Because of you," I realize now that it wasn't just about blame. It was about connection. Our lives, tangled by tragedy, had found their way back to each other, not to reopen wounds, but perhaps, to heal them.